Hi there, and welcome to Rob's Custom Wood Shop. My name is Rob, and today I'm going to be taking a break from my usual projects and joining the Woodworkers Fighting Cancer cause by building a project desk designed by the Wood Whisperer. To start off, I measure my 2x4s a few inches oversize. Then I cut them off over at the miter saw. After that, I flatten one face at the jointer. And then, using the fence as a reference, I flatten one side. Next, I use the planer to bring the stock to final thickness. Like Mark says, good joinery starts with square lumber, or something like that. Anyways, I used my table saw to cut the 2x4s to final width. Then using my miter gauge, I square up one end, flip the piece, and cut it to length. I had a few scraps of Baltic birch laying around, so I'll use that for the desk box. First, I'll cut to rough width using one side as a reference. Then I'll flip the piece over and cut to the final width. Next, using the crosscut sled, I'll square up one side and then cut the other to final length. Out of another piece of scrap, I'll cut the two sides and the back and the lower stretcher. If you sandwich the two sides and place them flush on the edge of the bottom, then lay the back against them and then just strike a line on the underside and cut to your line, it will fit flush every time. Next, I break out my hardly used pocket hole jig. I drill holes in the sides and the back to attach them to the top. Next, I use a 1/4 inch roundover bit in the router table to ease the corners on both sides of the top. Then, to keep the sides square, I temporarily attach the bottom with some screws. With glue and some brads, I attach the back to the sides. I just friction fit a spacer to keep the opening the right size. Using 2 pieces of 5/8 stock to take the stupid human out, I center the side and the back on the top. I then clamp it down and attach it to the top with some pocket hole screws. After that, I can just reattach the bottom using the same screw holes. Next, I start cutting the half laps for the feet and the uprights. Not sure why I thought I could do this with a thin curved blade, but then I switched to my dado blade and that made things go much faster. Once the foot joinery was done, I cut the half laps to accept the desk box, using the desk box as a reference. Then I marked out the angle I wanted to cut on the feet, and then I noticed. Tip number 2, always always inspect lumber from big box stores to avoid planer knife nicks. After that, I cut the angles out on the miter saw. Then I marked out and cut the notches for the lower stretcher. Next, I glue and screw the uprights together using these 90-degree clamping jigs to hold them while the glue set. Then set them off to the side for the glue to cure. I sand the desk bottom to 180, smoothing out the wood filler I applied to the plywood edges, and then I get to hard to reach places by hand. Next, I remove the legs from the clamps and give each a nice round over at the router table. And then sand them both to 180. I pre-drill the holes from the outside to help locate the inside. Then, using some glue and a clamp, I hold the leg while I screw it together from the inside, and just repeat for the other side. Now for some finish. I apply a light walnut Danish oil followed by 2 coats of satin wipe-on polyurethane. And there we have it. I think this project turned out awesome. I really enjoyed this build and I'm happy to be part of such a great cause. I'm looking forward to doing it again. Thank you for watching.